so much, Ashley. Thank you for organizing this. And more than anything, thank you everyone for joining us today. My name is Louis Doré. As Ashley mentioned, I'm the Director of Channel Sales for eCommerce. And we have with us on the latter part of the presentation today, Cindy Hupfeld, who's our Business Development Manager. As Ashley mentioned, please don't forget to write your questions on the bottom right of your screen where it says questions on the viewer. And we'll be answering all those questions at the end of the webinar. So the agenda today is what? The agenda is we'll go through what is e-commerce. We'll go through some of the challenges of e-commerce, the benefits of e-commerce, some key considerations, e-commerce business models, and there are two of them, the integration around e-commerce. And the next three things that are italicized are payment processing and security, e-commerce success stories, and what's in it for you, the return on your investment. And I did italicize them because if we've done an amazing job transferring this knowledge today, those I would recommend would be the three key takeaways that you would remember out of the next hour. And then a little bit about eCommerce. I always begin any webinar, seminar, in person or not, and I always ask the audience, what is e-commerce? And you'd be very surprised the multitude of answers I always get. Now, one of the biggest answers, and it'll always be the same, is e-commerce is we buy and sell things online. Absolutely correct. Another answer that I always get is it's about the consumer and it's retail. These are misperceptions when somebody answers it's only retail, because it's not. The majority of the global revenue today around e-commerce is based, according to Forrester, around 72% of it is business to business, not business to consumer. So e-commerce has many different connotations, different definitions, different answers, but think about business to business and think about the revenue generation behind serving your customers. Then I always ask, do you have an e-commerce solution? And everybody says absolutely. And again, when everybody says absolutely, the definitions of do you have an e-commerce solution is very meaningful, because you might not have one that's fully integrated to your back-end ERP, nor maybe you're not taking payments online and you are still answering the phones and order entering manually. So how many have an e-commerce solution? Decreases right now. So you can have a certain amount that answer, and then only 25% really have one that's functioning from A to Z. These are very key questions to ask yourself. And then I ask, thirdly, how many of you have an e-commerce solution integrated to an ERP? Then, of course, it goes from 40 to 20 to 3 people in a room. So a percentage of end user manufacturers, wholesales, distributors, retailers, automotive, medical device distribution companies or manufacturers, automotive, meaning auto parts, components, ball bearing companies, which is really mid-sized companies across North America, have rarely an ERP solution, an e-commerce solution integrated fully to your back-end ERP. So those numbers go down. Now, what are the challenges? We hear this all the time, and I'm sure you have too complicated. We're afraid to change, right? And it's the unknown. We're taking orders the way we have been for the last 25 years, and that's okay. That's normal. Too expensive. Oh, my inventories are too large. I've got over 100,000 SKUs. And complex pricing models, because I'm selling internationally as an example, so the pricing models are different. I lack an IT infrastructure, which is very much the case in many companies. I was with one company in Dallas a couple of weeks ago, major $200 million ball bearing distribution company with one person managing the IT, internally, externally, and managing applications, third-party applications. So yes, absolutely, I lack IT infrastructure is a common e-commerce challenge that we hear. And then, of course, the logistic issues, right? Is how do I ship my products on time? Okay, now, what key considerations do I need to know, or do you need to know when you start an e-commerce, thinking about e-commerce, right? Where do I start? Big question. What do I need to know? What do I have to do? It's concerning people right now because you have to be online today. You need to be doing business online. How much time will it take? What will its cost be, right? Okay, all the logistic issues behind it. There's very important people around e-commerce too. You can't forget the marketing people, the sales people, operating people, warehouse management folks in your organization. So it's a large team that needs to put together this thinking. So you need to bring a lot of different parties together, not only IT, although the IT person or people or department is very key and heavily involved. What are the e-commerce benefits? Increasing orders, of course. Increased profitability, absolutely, because you're decreasing your operational cost by being fully integrated to your back-end ERP. You reach new markets. You shorten the time to market. You improve customer service, faster ordering. Maximize your resource utilization. Like I mentioned, the ball bearing company, one IT person. Now you can maximize Stanley's time. Stanley's time is important. He can do other things and manage an e-commerce platform. And of course, you can sell on multiple channels. If you're not doing this today, digital media marketing is so important because most customers will already decide that they're buying the product or the service that you offer at an 85% rate. Already they'll know. And of course, you're going to take in 30% more orders. Okay, now let's meet Tony. Tony is a fictitious but very, very common customer that we have. And by common, I mean it in a very good way. The average customer doesn't think about digital transformation, but I'm sure everybody on this call is thinking about it and has put together at least a preliminary digital transformation plan together. Tony has. So he owns a brewery. It's in Tampa, Florida. He recently upgraded his facilities. He wants to expand his market reach and start selling nationwide, not just locally. He wants to maximize his profits. He's decided to open up an online store to sell his products to various business customers, so business to business. Okay. Now, I could say it's a typical customer if you're all doing this today. If you're not, think about it. Then he's an atypical customer. He's collected a lot of information, a lot of data collection, a lot of research, and he's serious about his digital transformation plan. There's a lot to think about. He wants to also invest in his brand, in marketing. He's the owner, so he's making the decision around e-commerce. And at the end of the day, he wants to really generate net new revenues, expand his markets, and it's all about revenue for Tony. Of course, the efficiency behind taking orders on the phone and faxing and receiving orders in 9 minutes per order that he could save on is absolutely important too. Okay, so as I mentioned, his pain points: manual order entry. He might have 2, 3, 4 people taking orders on the phone. It's hard for Tony to grow his business this way. Doesn't have enough visibility for his product. That's why he's very, very concerned about the omni-channel and digital media and marketing and investing in marketing for his brand. And also, sales are restricted today to regular business hours. Very, very important. If you're not open 24/7 and make it easy for your customers to order anytime, and we all do this as a consumer, we'll be ordering after hours, when we're free, after dinner, when the kids are asleep. It's very important to be open 24/7 because if you're not doing it, your competitor is already. Tony knows his business, right? He knows the size of his business. He knows what resources are available to him. He knows who his customers are already. He has not exponentially increased his business to gain net new customers, but he knows his customer base, right? They're restaurants. There are all types of businesses that resell his brewery products, right? Okay. He thinks he knows what kind of traffic he anticipates, so he does a multiple, and he knows he's going to gain a heck of a lot more of traffic. Okay, so when he anticipates growth, he's got to think seriously about scalability on his platform. He's got to think about the versatility of his platform. He's going to expand his market share. He knows he wants to go national rather than local. He knows his number of SKUs. Don't forget, you need to know how many SKUs you have. That's very important. He's got an ERP system in place, so he knows the automation and integration is very important on the back end to optimize his costs. Okay, he's got 150 employees, so we're not talking multi-million global 100 companies here. The majority of the business that needs a B2B platform integrated to the ERP are mid-sized to upper mid-market companies. He's got a solid digital transformation plan, as I mentioned, so he expects generating revenue. And he's always interesting that he's already done some research and he's put a budget aside for e-commerce. Okay, so he anticipates good growth. He's done his research. He's even thought about things such as taxation and how do I get my taxation. So he's got a third-party application already in place, and that needs to be integrated to the e-commerce solution. Okay, he's thought about technical requirements, extremely important. If I go back to my first slide on the agenda, the security. I can't mention it as much as I do, that PCI DSS compliance is one of the most important factors and one of the most important things that customers are concerned and looking for. PCI, just to describe it, it's a protection and security around an environment, and DSS is the compliance and the certification around an application. So that's important to him. What's he going to be selling and where? Again, I mentioned he's going to expand from local to statewide to national, but he's not going international yet. So he's going phase by phase. So think about a phase-to-phase approach. You don't need to go international right away. You don't need to open an online store to sell overseas right away. And of course, he needs to generate traffic. So his marketing team is very important around digital and email marketing, about search engine optimization, about Google Analytics. He knows that that marketing person is key to a digital transformation plan that he has. As I mentioned, here's the security, and it's all about us and your supplier, your vendor, your partner around e-commerce that has conformed and is protecting you and mitigating your risk around data exchange and data information and data leakage. Okay, Tony has a catalog of products, not that many, but he knows that they're segregated by geography and they're very diverse, but he knows his products. He knows where he sells his products to who and who the audience is, but it's not major. There's an exception when I said 100,000 SKUs in the market that we serve today, which is the upper to mid-market. He has a sales department that maintains a customer base. Does he want to expand to have more sales reps on the road? Not necessarily. Okay, manual order entry. I mentioned that that's what he's doing today. Is he going to retain customers and grow his customer base by not serving them immediately through an online ordering system? Not necessarily. He wants to make it as easy as possible to do business with you, and he wants to keep that customer satisfaction rate at the 98%. So he's got a solid plan, and that's all about the digital marketing plan that he's put together. He's got a following already. Tony's counting on this to help drive traffic to his site. He's aware of the importance around SEO, as I mentioned before. Also the search rankings, extremely important, whether it's on a tablet, whether it's on a PC, whether it's on any form factor. Google Analytics and the search engine optimization and the search rankings are important. And he wants to send periodic emails to his customers for information, newsletters, etc. Okay. He's thinking about also integrating this through a 360 with a CRM. Not yet though, but that's something to think about. How do I integrate that back to my CRM? Not only to ERP, but that would be the next phase for Tony. He also wants to think about, if I'm already marketing to my business-to-business customers, do I start branding myself out to the business-to-consumer market in parallel? Might be a very good idea. Okay, so having said all this, Tony knows he needs a versatile solution. He knows because he's growing, and exponentially he wants to grow. He is business-to-business focused, so he knows his customers already. He has them all in his ERP with the terms, the conditions, Everything he knows about his customer is there. He's got the ERP system already in place. It's a mid-market ERP system. He streamlined the processes already. And Tony's clients have a payment terms, so guess what? He wants to be ready for the customers, business-to-business customers, to pay online through credit cards. So think about not only taxation add-ins and what you're using today for your taxation, but think about also the payment processing gateways that you might already have or you might not have. Of course, the mobility part I mentioned, key, offer your customers a web application already, because most of us are shopping whichever way we slice and dice it, consumer or business-to-business consumer. We're all shopping through our devices. So you need to have that. You need to have it on the fly no matter where you are, right? What device you're using. And in this case, there's shops and restaurants of customers, so they're running around. He knows that he wants a website that shines. Shining meaning, and that's a tough one, because you could make it very complex, but you can make it as complete as you want for your customers. And when you're dealing with business-to-business customers, you want product specifications? Yes. Do you want multiple photos with zoom? The versatility is there. You might want to consider it, but do you really need multiple photos with zooming in and out for your business-to-business customers? Not necessarily the first phase. Do you want your products to be available? Absolutely. That's a higher priority. Do you want reordering capabilities where you're saving time, where if you're shopping online as a business-to-business consumer or customer, do you want to see the previous orders, and do you order those same SKU numbers on a weekly, monthly, yearly basis? The answer is probably yes. So you want reordering capabilities. You want your frequently ordered products. And of course, for the order entry, you want part and SKU and quantity order entries to show. You want that. Those are important factors. But you definitely want all that information on a website that's easy to navigate and easy to order immediately. So at the end of the day, Tony has made a decision, hey, I'm going to grow my business, right, by 50% in 24 months. He's already got to have that target. After the launch, he wants to maintain 100% of his existing customers also. So you're not only gaining net new customers, but you want to maintain and retain those customers, those existing customers. So you want ease of use, ease to order. You want the inventory, you want the SKU numbers, you want everything at the fingertips on any device. He wants to expand globally, as I mentioned, phase one, nationally, then globally. Before doing that, he wants to reach his domestic targeted goals. And then, of course, he knows with this growth, because he's going to go big or go home, it's got to scale with his business, with its growth. So having said all this, there are a lot of challenges that we hear. There are a lot of great solutions and great benefits for e-commerce. Tony's thought about a lot. So as I mentioned, it could be as complex as you make it, or it could be as simple as you need it in terms of a phase-to-phase approach, and it could be as complete as your customers require, so you don't lose the business and you think about generating your revenue that you have not had in the past through online ordering. And this omni-channel is very important, because you can pick and choose what you want to do. But these are all key parts of the customer centricity that every customer selling to another customer is concerned with today. Cindy, I'll hand it over to you at this point in time so you can continue.
All right. Thank you, Louis, and thank you, everyone. I am going to go through just a few more things here. There are a couple of e-commerce business models that are available. Everybody, I think, is very familiar with the B2C side, the Amazons, the Targets. We all do a bit of our own shopping online. In the business-to-consumer world, the store sites are set up for very personal use, very fixed pricing model. single pricing available to all. There's really no bargain there unless you're shopping the sales, but then those prices are available to everybody out there. The B2C sites are very emotionally driven. We tend to be a nation of emotional shoppers. And there's also targeted consumer marketing for a business-to-consumer site. Now, on the B2B side of things, it's a very different purchase, although those buyers still like to have that very personal experience. But when they're purchasing for their organizations, this is for business consumption. So they're looking for, you know, the best pricing that they can get. If they buy in bulk, are they going to be able to get a better discount? They could have their own specific pricing based on contracts or purchase agreements that they have with their vendors. It's very rationally driven because it's something that drives your business. And then those vendors tend to focus on business marketing to their clients. Louie, I'm not moving. I'm sorry. Okay. So what is integrated e-commerce? Integrated e-commerce is a solution that provides a steady flow of information from your e-commerce site into your back-end ERP system. So in your ERP, you already have your customer data, your product data, inventory levels, warehousing, pricing. You could have customers that have different pricing levels based on purchase agreements or levels of purchase and what have you. Preferred shipping methods, payment options. So some customers may have to pay by credit card, other customers may be able to pay on account. All of the order information, order history, so customers can see past orders if they want to reorder all of those orders. A quick order process is very simple to do. So the integrated e-commerce solution gives you a single source of truth, one system to manage instead of having disparate systems to manage throughout your business model. So some of the benefits of integrated e-commerce, again, there's no data redundancy. So your ERP is that single source of truth for you. So all of the information that's in your ERP based around your customers is there, and that becomes the single source of truth for your e-commerce site. Much lower operational costs versus having multiple systems out there that you have to manage. It's very easy to streamline your inventory in your ERP and make that available to your customers on your store site. And then, of course, scalability. Your ERPs are scalable. Your e-commerce solution also needs to be a scalable solution as well. Cost savings and ROI. This is everybody has a very different, I guess, opinion, and it's a very relative term, cost savings and ROI. But really what you can do with an e-commerce platform that's integrated into Microsoft Dynamics is increase efficiency in your organization. You're working from one database instead of multiple databases. You have simplified web store maintenance. You're saving your business time and money. You can allocate resources that might have been taking orders over the phone or entering them into the ERP system. Those resources can be allocated elsewhere to help grow your business. You certainly have satisfied customers and improved shopping experience. There's a Forrester study that I saw back in 2015, and it said that of those polled, they were polling B2B buyers, and of those polled, they said that 97% of them would prefer to have the option to be able to purchase from their vendors online, but that at that point only 37% had the ability to do so. So the B2B market is really, it's huge, it's tremendous, it's a great opportunity to expand your market share, grow your business, and what you really want is an e-commerce partner, not a vendor, and that's certainly what eCommerce provides. So, and you don't have to take my word for it. I'm going to show you a couple of case studies from a couple of our customers. Coffee Beanery is one. Coffee Beanery is, they have a very unique situation in that, well, and it may not be that unique anymore, but they have a B2B side, so they sell business to business. They also have a business to consumer side, and they also sell on the Amazon Marketplace. So we have an add-on module for that as well. Coffee Beanery struggled because they weren't experts in e-commerce. They were experts in coffee, and they wanted to make sure that they were getting their coffee out to the masses. They wanted to expand their market share. So what they did was they came to us and asked for an integrated solution into their ERP, which in this case it's Nav, and they wanted to have, though, a very friendly user experience. So B2C site, so we started with that. We moved on to the B2B site, and again, they wanted that same look and feel. They wanted it to be responsive, but they also have a little bit more complexity in their site. So I'm going to go ahead and bring up their site so that you can see it. And Louis, I don't know if you guys can see my screen. You may have to make me the presenter. All right, can everybody see my Coffee Beanery screen? No, I don't think you guys can see it, can you?
It says waiting to view Cindy's screen.
Let me, hold on, share my screen. No, I don't want to share my webcam, I want to share my screen. I cannot share my screen. Louis, can you make me the presenter instead of keyboard and mouse? My apologies, technical.
You have presentation rights. Okay, we can move back onto the presentation, Cindy.
Okay, let's go back to the presentation. So with Coffee Beanery, and I can certainly send these sites. What they have is a store local. Louis, can you mute, please? All right.
If you just
and I don't know that anybody
be able to show your screen.
All right.
We can hear you still.
I don't have the ability. All I have is a share my webcam. I can't share a screen. Give me the option. Hold on. Louis, can you bring up the presentation? Okay. In the meantime, I will let you know.
Hold on. Here it goes. Thank you.
There we go. Okay, thank you. All right, you want to? Oh, there we go. All right, so with Coffee Beanery, they had a lot of challenges. They had a really hard time trying to keep up with Christmas orders at Christmas time. They were manually checking their Amazon Marketplace 6 to 8 times a day, which limited their ability to get other things done. So with Coffee Beanery, they do have a business to consumer, a business to business, and an Amazon Marketplace, all in one site. And then the next one is Wireless Giant. And Wireless Giant, they are a provider of accessories for wireless devices. And they also have, they sell business to consumer, of course. They have local store sites. They're based out of Michigan. They also sell business to business. So they wanted a really modern look and feel to their sites. They wanted that, that seamless user experience, that omni-channel experience for their customers. So whether they were on the consumer side or the business side, we were able to provide them with a really great looking site. I'm sorry I can't show it to you, but a really great looking site that's fully responsive, that gives the user exactly the experience that they're looking for, and they've actually seen an increase in traffic and an increase in sales since the new sites have launched. So ROI of an e-commerce solution. We can help you reduce costs by 52%, and that's based on Gartner information or Forrester information regarding setting up a brick and mortar store versus setting up an online store. You can also save $10,000 to $50,000 per year just on PCI compliance. So if you're accepting credit cards for payment, there's a mandate for PCI compliance and making sure that that credit card information is safe. eCommerce goes through an extensive audit at the beginning of every year to make sure that we maintain the highest level PCI DSS certification, and we do that. So we take that burden and that risk off of you, and we absorb that and make sure that the credit card information for your customers is kept very safely. You can also increase your order capacity by up to 300%. So if for example, if you are managing a store, a brick and mortar location, and you're open from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. or even from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. if you're open 12 hours a day, there's still 12 hours a day that your customers are not able to order from you or to process orders. With an e-commerce solution, your customers can order 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So can help increase your order capacity exponentially. So how do you make your ERP sell for you? Well, it's very simple. You want innovation, you want integration. We talked about the integration. It's key to streamline the order process. Your technology, you want your site to be very responsive so that your customers can order from any device, anytime. And eCommerce does offer that. You want that omni-channel experience. If you need B2B, B2C, marketplace, we can do all of that for you in one fell swoop. PCI DSS certification, can't stress enough how important that is, and how as you've seen in recent months, there's still some definite breaches out there in credit card information. So PCI DSS certification is huge. More people are moving to the cloud. We talk about the cloud a lot. If you're cloud friendly, certainly it takes a burden of staff and equipment and hardware off of you to offer a cloud solution to your customers. And then of course you really want to have someone with some expertise. And eCommerce has the expertise. We've been doing e-commerce for quite some time. We were founded in 1999. You can see in 2004 the first GP integration, and we've moved forward with Microsoft Dynamics going forward. We are now, late last year, we launched Azure, so we are now able to host Azure solutions for you. And we currently have 1,500 websites around the globe and counting. We're adding more on a daily basis. So e-commerce is all we do, and I truly believe that we do it better than anyone, and I'd be happy to tell you more about that. So just to sum everything up, some key takeaways for you, some things to think about when you're considering an e-commerce solution. You need to think about payment processing and security. PCI DSS compliance is certainly huge. You want to think about what type of revenue you want to generate from your store site and make a plan for that. Think about your marketing initiatives, your digital marketing initiatives, social media. All of that is big in the e-commerce space, and there are certainly things that will add to your success. Take a look at the eCommerce success stories. I'm happy to share them with you. We certainly have more. You can see what others are doing in manufacturing and distribution, or if it's food and beverage, or there's a host of markets that we cover. So I'm happy to share any of those success stories with you. And then, of course, you need to think about that return on investment. Again, what we're going to spend, think about your budget for your e-commerce solution, ask yourself the question, what kind of revenue do I want to generate over the next 12 months once the site is launched, or think about how much can I reduce my costs by launching an e-commerce site. All of that comes into play, so there's certainly really good questions to ask yourself and plan for as you're thinking about your e-commerce solution. And of course, eCommerce can provide you with that best-in-class e-commerce solution. And that's us. We just talked about all of these things. Make sure you're responsive, certified, cloud friendly is certainly the great way to go for a cost-effective solution. And don't hesitate to reach out to us. We're happy to show you integration and to show you case studies and some success stories, and just answer any questions you may have. So if there are any questions, please feel free.
Thanks, Cindy. Thanks, Louie. We did actually get a few questions come through. The first one is, do you have a sales portal?
We do have a sales portal. So if you have representatives that are out in the field calling on your customers, we do have a rep portal that they can log into. They would basically be logging in as the customer, and they can place orders on location right there for their customer on any device, be it an iPad, a laptop, a mobile device, doesn't matter. So yes, a rep portal is certainly part of the solution.
Great, thank you. And the next one is, I am using an ERP system. How does the integration work?
So with eCommerce, our integration is a bit unique, and it's one of the things that sets us apart. We have a proprietary sync technology that sits outside of the ERP system itself. So once the sync system is integrated into the ERP, the information will start to flow back and forth from the store site. The benefit of that for you and for your customers is that if your ERP has to go down for maintenance or whatever the case may be, your store site is going to be up and running. So your customers are never going to know that the ERP is down. They're going to be able to place their orders. We're going to hold them in the eCommerce solution, and then as soon as the ERP comes back up, Sync's going to send them all back into the ERP for processing.
Awesome. And the final question that we got was, what payment offerings are available in the solution and how do they work?
So we have a host of different items that are available. So of course, paying on account, if a customer has terms with you to pay net 30 or net 15 or net 45, so that option will appear when they go to the checkout screen if that's an option that's available to them. Of course, credit cards, all the major credit cards through the payment gateways, authorized.net, Chase Payment Tech, and there's many, many others that we use for the credit card payments. You can also offer gift cards for your customers. So if you have gift cards that you would like to use, you can certainly do that. And loyalty points as well. We have a module for loyalty points. So just about any option of payment that you can think of, we certainly do. And then, of course, with eBay and the Amazon integration as well.
Awesome. And that looks like that's it for questions that were submitted during the session. If any later questions do come up, please feel free to reach out to myself or Cindy or Louie, and we'll be happy to help you. I'll be sending a follow-up email after this with the recording, and if you want to ask your question in that email, you can do that certainly. So thank you, Cindy and Louie, for giving us a great overview of e-commerce best practices.
Thank you, Ashley, for having us, and thank you to all the for joining.
Thank you, and on behalf of everyone at Internet BMI, we want to thank you for your attendance and have a great rest of your day.